what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed.
This is why you should never open your door for strangers. In 2013, a woman let her dog out to use the bathroom one more time before bed. After only a few minutes, she starts hearing scratching on her door, which is typically the sound her dog makes when he's ready to come in. But it just seemed way too soon for him to be done being outside. So she decides to look through the peephole to make sure it really is her dog. But what she sees is terrifying. A deranged-looking man is right outside her door, staring intently at her door handle, waiting for it to turn open. As she's looking in horror, unable to do anything, he starts scratching at the door as hard as he can, never leaving his gaze from the door handle. She manages to stifle a scream, she backs away and realizes her dog is still outside. So she goes to the side window, but there's no sign of her dog, and so she goes back to the door to see if maybe the man's moved. He hasn't moved, his mouth is open, and he's staring directly at the peephole. Then he turns around and walks away. With the man gone, she discovers her dog unharmed, his leash had just been cut. But that means he had a knife.
Okay, so this is part 2 of finding out the guy that I was dating had a secret family. After my birthday, we continued to date for about 5 more months. Over the course of these months, he got progressively more possessive with me. He would always accuse me of cheating if I ever went out partying with friends. He had to know where I was at all times, and he would track my location on Snapchat. Eventually, it got to the point where I just started staying in and not doing anything at all. Then his dad's birthday comes up and I get ignored for 2 days. He explained there was this big family party and he was just too caught up to respond. His cousin who was pregnant, who he would go visit, finally came to town, so he wanted to catch up with her. I just accepted it. The next day on Facebook, I got a friend request from this cousin, and I found out it was actually his pregnant girlfriend. And she came to town to stay with him for the weekend, and that's why he wasn't responding to me. And he told her that I was his cousin. And it turns out on top of that little family, he was also dating 6 other girls and controlling us all. I dipped real quick and blocked him on everything. His ex and I are good friends now, and I became the godmother to her child. Love you guys, and if you have a story, follow and send it to me on Instagram. Guys, this is a story time about when I dated someone with a secret family. So my boyfriend and I that dated from the age of 13 to 20 finally broke up. I hadn't been single in forever, so I enjoyed about 6 months of single life. After that, I decided it was time to start casually dating again, so I downloaded some dating apps. 2 weeks before my 21st birthday, I matched with this guy. We'll call him Lee. He was so sweet, we made the best conversation, and he said he was dying to meet me. I was hesitant at first, but I finally agreed to meet, and he was even cuter in person. He bought me food and drinks, and we went on little cute dates almost every day after this. The night of my 21st birthday, he started to act strange. While I was getting ready for my party, he got really angry with me. I thought it was really weird, but I brushed it off. He told me that he wasn't coming, but I just ignored it and continued to get ready. I had an awesome night, but then he messaged me at 2 a.m. He accused me of having a birthday just so I could get with my ex, which is so untrue. The next morning, he called and apologized and said that he was just upset. I told him it was fine, but I knew this was my first major red flag. Follow, share, and add me on Instagram, and I'll do a part 2.
Trigger warning, this video contains stalking. When I was 13 years old, I was stalked severely to the point where it became a federal case. Me and my best friend at the time thought it would be a great idea to walk to the beach. Everything seemed normal until we got home. My friend started getting phone calls on her phone from somebody pretending to be Scream. She hung up and she didn't entertain it. And that's when my phone started getting text messages, and it was really creepy. Back then, you could have signatures on your phone, and his signature was always watching. So jokingly, I said, since you're always watching, what are we wearing? And he said exactly what we were wearing down to our sock color. Keep in mind that we had just gotten back from the beach, and we had already showered and changed clothes. We called the police, and they looked around, and they couldn't find anything. And that's where things got crazy. Like for part 2, this was 5 years.
So I was at work the other day and this guy comes in and he's looking around for ages. He comes over to me and he's like, "You haven't got any of the medium chuck it ball." So I say to him, "Oh, have we not got any on the shelf?" He tells me, "No, there's absolutely none over there. Have you not got any in the back?" So I explained to him, "No, we don't keep any of those in the back. We don't really stock that many, and they're quite a popular dog toy anyway, so they sell quite quickly." He leaves, and then like 20 minutes later I get a notification for a click and collect for that same dog toy. Over to the shelf, and there's like 6 of them on the shelf, so he's clearly just missed them. So I call them, I say, "Your click and collect order's ready whenever you want to collect it." This woman comes in to collect them, and she's got like this really malicious grin on her face. "I have a question. I want to know why you lied to my husband." Said that you told him you didn't have any of these. Clearly you were lying. They were just hiding in the back and you didn't want us to have them. Karen, your husband's not important enough to lie to.
This girl literally lived a nightmare. A 17-year-old girl was watching TV late at night when her motion detector lights in her driveway suddenly went on. She assumed it was just an animal, so she got up, drew the blinds, and went back to watching TV. Then a little bit later, it happened again. Before she could even react, she looks over and clearly makes out a silhouette of a person right behind the blinds who starts banging aggressively on the window. The girl stands up and goes, "I'm gonna call the cops!" And the figure stops for just a second, sprints to the side door and starts pounding even louder on that, screaming incoherently. The girl runs to the bathroom, barricades herself inside while she waits for the police, and then her worst nightmares come true. She hears glass shatter in the other room. After a few minutes of silence, she opens her door just a crack to get a peek outside, and standing in her living room next to a broken window is some crazy old woman who looks over at her and starts sprinting toward her. The lady comes smashing into the door and starts wailing on it until the police arrive and take her away. She was a lunatic who had escaped her facility.
Tiempo para una historia paranormal. Cuando yo tenía como 7 o 8 años y mis hermanos gemelos tenían como 2 años, a uno de los gemelos le agarró que no quería entrar a la recámara. Se ponía a gritar, se ponía a llorar, se le paraban los pelitos del brazo del terror que no quería entrar a la recámara. La única manera que mi mamá lo podía meter al cuarto era durmiéndolo afuera en la sala y después meterlo al cuarto ya dormido. Después de varios días que mi hermano se ponía así de chillón, a mi papá se le ocurrió que iba a meter al perro a la casa. Y una pausa terrorífica para el polvo, polvo, polvo. La casa era de 2 recámaras y ambas compartían un closet que se abría de un lado y salía del otro. Díganme por qué cuando mi papá dejó entrar el perro se fue directo al closet. Y bien claro se escuchó que el perro estaba peleando con algo adentro del closet. Después que se escuchara peleando adentro del closet por buen rato, el perro salió por la otra puerta ladrándole a algo. Y después de esa noche mi hermano ya pudo entrar al cuarto sin llorar. ¿Qué había en el closet? ¿Quién chingado sabe?